understand, but we have a quorum.
Yes,
He's waiting
Yeah.
for the clock to go around.
we've
Oh,
got
okay.
everybody here that's going to be here, I think.
Mr. Chair, we are now live on YouTube.
He's waiting for the clock to go around.
We've got everybody here that's going to be here.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you, Therese. Welcome, everybody. This is the September 7th, 2022 meeting of the Transportation and Circulation Commission, City of Lafayette. I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carl DiGiorgio. Let's start with the roll call. If I'll call your name and then please just respond with your name. Lynn,
Here,
Greg,
Present.
Vianney,
Present.
Stella,
Present.
and Bart. Okay. Yes, we see you
Here.
waving.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, Patrick is here, and also behind the curtain is Therese Kane. So we're all here. I don't think there's going to be any changes to the agenda. Anybody have any issues with that?
No. No.
So motion to adopt, please.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. I got a first and a second. All
A
those in-
second.
Yep, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, great. All right, let's start with, this is the section of the meeting for public comment. I see we have several people, 2 people in the attendees. If either of you or would like to make comments about something that's not on the agenda tonight, then just raise your hand. I don't see any hands. So we're gonna then, let's just close that. Let's go to, there's no old business, so new business. All right, Patrick, do you want to describe this and then we can talk about, this is the new business 6A. It says appointment of chair and vice chair to the Transportation Circulation Commission. Let's discuss it.
Right, so I had been doing a little administrative work and reviewing the charter for this commission, and pulled out one of the sections which states that the commission members shall designate the chair and vice chair of the commission from among the membership. Each chair term shall be 1 year. I had Therese do a little bit of digging, and from what I understand, Carl, you were reelected as chair in December 2018, and then I think reelected again in February of 2020, and the same with Greg as vice chair. So as far as I can tell, the 1-year term would have expired in February of 2021. So I just wanted to bring this up as a discussion item if you want to have, or you want to have a discussion about re-nomination of chair and vice chair.
Yes, I actually also had asked Mike Moran about this before Patrick joined. With my concern is one of the things we need to do is, as a team, we need to reevaluate the areas that we're paying attention to. For example, Stella's been so gracious to go after the GPAC work, and Greg recently accepted his own assignment. But at some point, we should have a discussion on if anybody wants to change those roles of the chair and the vice chair. I don't think that's something we needed to, I don't think that's anything we're going to do tonight, because it wasn't, well, it's not necessary tonight, but I just wanted to bring up the topic to introduce that of if my fellow commissioners would like to have an opportunity to be the chair or vice chair, it's something you should consider. Lynn, you had your hand up.
oh yeah, I was just going to say, how to put it? I think that it's good for everyone to have the experience of being chair. Right now, a lot of us are very, very busy and committed, and perhaps sometimes overly committed. But I personally feel that you're doing a good job. We're happy to have you. But particularly, we have new staff, and I think personally, I think it's the wrong time to be changing chairs at the moment. I don't think we should be changing chairs or vice chair, just leave them in place, leave us in place, whoever, until our staff is nice and comfortable and in his role. And that's going to take a little while to get used to the various different procedures and problems and solutions and locations of this, that, and the other thing.
Mhm.
And I personally, myself, wouldn't change anything yet.
Greg?
Thanks, Carl. Well, I think it's important to hear from you, Carl. I mean, I guess, you know, time has compressed over the last couple of years. I didn't realize it was February 2020 that we last appointed you as chair, but I would love to hear from you as to your thoughts to continuing as chair. You know, as Lynn said, I would fully support it if you know, it's something you so desire. I actually forgot and didn't realize that I was vice chair, but I would be happy to turn over that role to some, you know, and all the honors and accoutrements that accompany that role to someone else. But no, really importantly, from your perspective as chair, what are your thoughts and plans, and what would you like to?
Well, before me,
What do you see as your vision for the future?
well, before me, what else? Any other commissioners would have thoughts before I start talking?
I would say that it's fine as it is, but the parties that are involved that should be talking,
Yeah.
such as you, Carl.
Well, so,
And Greg.
the originally I brought this up with the reason I originally brought this up is other commissions, including, for example, the Planning Commission, have a policy of rotating the chair and vice chair, and they do so on a regular basis. I think it's good as a mechanism within any organization to build bench strength, you know, to get people more experience, and everybody has different styles. So as you know, I don't do this, you know, for self-aggrandizement. I just here to help. I'm happy to do this, but I think that I wanted to discuss this because I think it's worth giving everybody opportunities to participate in different manners. And so that's why I wanted to bring this subject up. Yeah, Lynn?
Oh, me. Yeah, we have so many roles that we're playing right now. And not all organizations have multiple responsibilities like this. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. Our particular commission over the last 40 some years has done all of the above. For example, Jerry Rosenberg, we took the job, had no idea what he was in for. He turned out to be absolutely superb. We kept him for 5 years and then started changing. He eventually moved, hopefully not to avoid the position. We've also changed every year. We've done various different things, and anybody's guess. I think any one of us would make an outstanding chairperson. I've already been chairperson off and on.
All right.
But the commitment, the hours of commitment, that's a problem, because Lafayette is in great need of so many things, so many activities, so much knowledge right now from the volunteer leadership that we have.
Well, and again, this doesn't mean that people participate less, but Bart, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that, first of all, I think, Carl, you're doing a great job. So thank you very much for doing that, and thank you for your willingness to continue in the near term. I at that point when you want to give up your position as chair, I don't feel speaking personally for myself, as you know, I'm the newest member of the commission. I don't feel that I'm quite ready to take that position, but hearing that Greg is may want to give up the vice chair position, I would be willing to take that from him if that's something that he wants to do. And that way, you know, I could. And then I was going to quickly ask the question in other commissions and other bodies. I was at one time part of the Bike Pedestrian Advisory Committee there, and I was a chair for a number of for a long period of that committee. The vice chair of the committee would move up to the chair, and that would be the next chairperson. That's sort of the way I've seen it work elsewhere. So I was just wondering if, not to put Greg on the hot spot, but I was just wanted to see if that was something that has ever been considered for this body. But having said that, I would be willing to take over for Greg if that's something that he wants to do.
Okay. Thank you for those comments. Patrick, is there maybe a point in terms of like a point of order? Is this something we could do now, or do we need to agendize it differently? Does an agenda specifically need to say that we want to reaffirm or to redo the chair and the vice chair?
I don't have an answer, Therese. I'm not sure if you do. I left it purposely vague.
Yeah. Okay. Then why don't we do this? Let's just do it next time. So next meeting, why don't you bring this back, and we'll actually consider changes. And yeah, Deanna, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I have a question. Aren't we short of one or two?
We're short of
One
We're not-
person,
We're not complete, are we?
one person, we're short.
Oh,
one.
one person, okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, yeah.
Lynn, you had your hand up?
Yeah. Well, and Stella is another one. She's has her hands full also with GPAC, but that doesn't mean that the chair can't
That's right.
be a GPAC member. I don't know. Just Stella, do you have any interest in sharing the group or not?
No, I've made a commitment to GPAC that I think would make it very difficult to do both.
I would think so too.
All right, let's close this topic off. Patrick, please bring it back for the next meeting, okay? No, I just want to keep things moving. So thank you so much for your input, everybody, and thank you for those comments. Let's move on to item 7. There's a lot in this, as I say, the show and tell portion. Let's start with commissioner staff updates. Let's start with the 4 listed items, and then I've got things to share and talk about, and I'm sure you all do too.
Okay, the first item is the OBAG 3 grant application. So this is kind of an update from last month. So last month I had let this group know that there's the OBAG 3 grant process that's being administered through MTC. We and other jurisdictions in Contra Costa County had to submit our applications to the CCTA, and they had put together a review panel where they were reviewing all the applications that came in. It turns out there were 29 of them that came in, and that review panel was tasked with scoring each of the applications and coming up with a recommended list of projects that would then be submitted to MTC for consideration for part of the grant. So as the grant, Contra Costa County had a certain dollar figure allocated to it. So I submitted applications for School Street project as well as the Pleasant Hill Road project. And the good news is that both projects scored very well. School Street ultimately made it into the short list of projects that will now be submitted to MTC for consideration. We were ranked, School Street was ranked number 6 of 29, and Pleasant Hill Road was ranked number 13 of 29. So Pleasant Hill Road for now is not being considered for this grant. but the good news is that School Street is. So that's the next step in the process. So those will be submitted to MTC this month, and then I believe that it will take through the fall and into the winter for MTC to come back. But the biggest hurdle was the CCTA review panel. So I'm pleased to say that project has made it.
Before I take Bart's question, I want to apologize to the attendees that at the last item 6A, I failed to ask for public input, and we'll do that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bart, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I have a quick question for Patrick. I wanted to find out if that School Street project, which I believe is to install a permanent Class 1 facility along School Street, is that what it is? Is that going to replace the current temporary lane that has been established on School
scope
Street?
that I submitted on the application was a Class 1 facility on School Street between Moraga Road and the entrance to the pathway. Topper Lane, a Class 1 facility on Topper from the entrance to the pathway down to St. Mary's Road, and then a construction of a new sidewalk on St. Mary's for the 1 block.
So that's a replacement to the temporary facility that's on schools that was just constructed on School Street.
Yes.
Thank you.
To make it permanent.
Yeah, that's great. Lynn, you were second.
Yeah, a couple of questions. First of all, the bollards on School Street, how wide is that path? And it's dual use bike, is it?
How wide is the
The on
path?
street. The on street on School Street where the bollards have been erected. How wide is that?
I believe 8 feet, 7.5 or 8 feet.
Is that what it looks like to you, Vianney? Yeah.
Yes.
And it goes from the trail
Mhm.
all the way
Yeah.
up to First Street, huh?
The current configuration, yes.
Yeah, and do we have the funding? I wasn't quite sure of your measurements, where you were placing that. Do we have funding to handle that also? And is it two-way a bike, 8 feet?
Are you talking about the current configuration or the future?
The funding that we're getting, when we get that money, will we be able to construct an entire facility, a two-way bike lane where we have marked off with the bollards right now on School Street?
Yes, the future configuration, the vision is a two-way Class 1 facility, so it would be shared between pedestrians and cyclists. It would be 10 feet wide with a landscape strip as well.
Two-way,
Yes.
Yeah.
two-way.
There's the sidewalk too as well, so.
Are you going to add the sidewalk in with that, or will it be separate?
It will be one pathway, but it will use the,
Sidewalk.
It'll use the sidewalk too.
So just point out that it's a little premature to talk about details because we may not even get the money. Isn't that the case?
Oh, but yes, we will get the money.
well, so, I like I said, the application that I put in was for the whole big project that included sidewalk on St. Mary's, Topper, and School Street. And so the application may be successful, but not for the dollar amount that I submitted. So it
Oh, I
could,
thought we knew how much it would be. No?
Okay. Let's okay.
Well, can we let Patrick answer?
Yeah. I just say
yes, I have a cost estimate, but again, they may come back and say, rather than giving you 3.4 million, we can give you 2 million, in which case we have to decide what elements of the project
That'll be done.
is constructed and not.
Okay. Okay. All right. Stella, you've been patiently waiting.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a couple of questions. So just to follow up on the cost. So what I wasn't clear about was whether the cost that's in the document, which I think was 3.4 million. Does that include the match? I think I saw that the projects have to have a minimum 11.47% match.
Yes. I believe that this is the amount requested as part of the grant.
So then it's 3.8 million total.
Yes.
Okay, and then I guess, is there a source for that 11.47? That's about $400,000.
Yes, I had to identify that source. I can quickly, I hope. Come up with an answer.
While he's looking, I want to say thank you, Stella, because that was one of my questions on that.
Perfect. I have a few other questions about this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'll come back for questions about the Pleasant Hill Road afterwards.
Actually, I've got an answer for you. So we had Measure J funds
Okay,
and general fund
great.
listed. Yep. And
That's-
so those were the match.
That's great to hear. Excellent. And let me see if there are other questions I had about it. Oh, I'm just curious. I saw in the CCTA staff report that they included the criterion that they used to evaluate the projects. And I'm just wondering, do you get that breakdown for your projects? Are we able to see that? No. Okay.
No.
Okay. So there's really no way to know kind of, like where maybe the other project, Pleasant Hill Road pathway, could be edited, altered, tweaked, beefed up.
That's a great question, and I can ask for a debrief
That'd
on
be
the
great.
Pleasant Hill Road project.
Sounds
That'd be
good.
great.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions about Pleasant Hill Road project, but I can hold if anyone else wants to talk about School Street.
I think you're on a roll.
Oh, and actually, I have another School Street question. Sorry, I lied. Patrick, you mentioned the class 1, I think, was it on Topper, or class 2 on Topper?
1.
Okay, so would that turn into a one-way street at that point?
No. I mean, I'm looking for money for design, so everything, of course, at this point is theoretical, but we're looking at there is some public right-of-way on the east side of the street, and so that's what was envisioned. Topper Lane would still be two-way, and then a 10-foot class 1 facility to the east of that, of the two travel lanes.
Okay, so just adjacent to the trail.
Yes.
Okay, that's helpful. And then the sidewalk extension you mentioned on St. Mary's, where is that exactly?
From Topper
Yes.
to Birdhaven.
Topper to Birdhaven. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I think that, obviously the application's in already, and I don't know if it's binding if it's awarded, but wasn't there a lack of paved sidewalk between Topper and
Birdhaven.
well, yes, Birdhaven, but the
Oh,
right
West towards the
it's
school.
not really the I guess it's the drop-off area by the school. So that was not considered for addition?
No. No, not as part of this project.
Okay.
Right.
Buses park there too.
But that's a good point, Stella, and we should bring that
Yeah.
up when it comes back.
yeah, further west.
The sidewalk terminates, I think, at, maybe, is it at Campo? There's a sidewalk from Moraga Boulevard that
Yeah.
goes, but then once you get to that point, it's just tan bark.
More like a boulevard.
Okay. Other questions, Stella?
Yeah, I have a question about the Pleasant Hill Road.
Yeah, do it.
So that one, I saw in the CCTA staff report in that long list where you can see it, all the 29 applications, that the funds requested were 5 million. And I had thought I heard 3 million last last time, and I realized that I did. It was at the Pleasant Hill Road public meeting, the multi-use path public meeting. The public handout said about 3 million. So what's the extra 2 million for?
Pulling up my budget. I mean, because we don't have a design, the budget was very, very, very high level, right? So, I'm pulling that up. If there are other questions, I can come back to this one.
I think that was my only question. And then I guess if it is the 5 million, then that doesn't include the match. So we're looking at like 5.6 million total.
5.5. Oh, no. What I had said in my application was that the total project was 6.2 million. But I would need to go back into the breakdown. And I've worked on this with Mike.
Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, don't have to know right now, but it just was a big difference. And so I was just curious about that. That's all the questions I have.
Okay. Lynn, and then I'll go after that.
Yeah, just a quickie. If we do eventually get funding for that bike lane on Pleasant Hill Road, we should at least be aware that in doing so, we would be scraping up a very important project that cost, we were given a $6 million Livable Cities grant to build that median strip landscaping, the ingress and egress to Acalanes High School, the waiting lanes. That was a huge grant that we got, and it was very competitive. That project saved a lot of lives. We were having numerous accidents going out from Acalanes High School driveways or trying to turn into the driveways. And that project cured those problems. I don't know what's going to happen if that bike lane is funded, but I do have concerns about it. It seems such a shame to waste our $6 million highly competitive grant for something that I believe personally is doubtful in safety.
Okay. All right. So my question, thank you, Lynn. My question, Patrick, and this is a softball that doesn't have to be answered right now. And this might, when I think about the MTC and the CCTA, SWAT, and La Miranda Action, all the different entities, right? I think at some point it would be nice to have a quick session when there's time so to educate the public and the commissioners on what the structure is and who's responsible for the different elements of transportation planning. Okay, that was just one comment. And then when it says OBAG cycle 3, so I know this is strange, but how many cycles are there? Is the money for OBAG, is that related to just like Measure J, or is that that's separate?
Well, I mean, this is the third OBAG grant cycle that's come up. So yeah. It's the third to date.
Is it perpetual?
I believe it's when MTC can get the funding. So this is federal, these are federal funds.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Uh,
That's why I was saying softball. I just wondered when it said cycle 3, how many were there going to be?
Yeah.
So, okay. I don't have any other questions on this item. Let's move to the next item, if you don't mind. That's the safety improvement near schools verbal update.
Right. So this was another item from last month where I gave an update on the construction around, the quick build projects around the school. So I asked Mike today what the status was on all the projects. And so I'm going to kind of go through the laundry list that I typed up based on these notes. So prior to school starting, as you may be aware, construction was completed on the ADA ramps on School Street near Avalon. The crosswalk was restriped between the ramps. Striping was refreshed at Brook Street. Bike installed with delineators and the striping. There was a temporary diagonal crossing that was installed at School Street at Paradise Court. In front of Acalanes High School, there were 2 speed humps that were installed, and then delineators and K-rail were installed at Spring Hill. So status on upcoming work around the school. So at Acalanes, the city's contractor is going to start the sidewalk and the protected mid-block crossing work on Stanley Boulevard the week of September 19th. At Stanley Middle School, we're moving towards substantial completion of work on School Street, and the city's contractor is working on the crosswalk and the ramp reconstruction, with paving scheduled for this Saturday. There'll still be some grading and landscaping items to continue, but the crosswalks and ramps should be open for use on Monday. And then, as you're aware, there have been, we placed a large order for the flashing beacons. And the first partial shipment was received today of the flashing beacon materials. So we would expect that the beacons on School Street would be installed first. And so this would probably be done in the next few weeks. At Spring Hill, a second contractor will be constructing the the raised crosswalks on the Pleasant Hill Road slip lane. And that work will probably start in October. And then Mike said that, we're just going to continue to work on the list of items until we either completed them or run out of funding. So this may take the next few months.
I'm sorry, Patrick, did you say the slip lane work at Spring Hill starts in October?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
And then also at the same time, the raised crosswalk on Stanley will be constructed. So that was a lot of information.
Yeah.
But if there are any questions.
I have a question about, I guess, the Stanley raised crosswalk, the slip lane raised crosswalk at Spring Hill, and then the Acalanes raised crosswalk. How will you manage the construction of those with the school pickup and drop off craziness that happens?
That's a good question, and I'll ask Mike. It might be weekend work.
That would be awesome. But
I will ask him, but the paving that's happening on School Street's happening on Saturday.
yeah, okay. Excellent. Yeah, I know that they put in the speed humps on Stanley outside of Acalanes really fast during a weekday, but that was kind of amazing how quickly they could do it with a bunch of asphalt.
That was done this summer too, before school started.
Yes.
It was just maybe a day or two before, I think, maybe.
Well, it's thank you for that update. It's all very exciting to see that these projects are going forward. So thanks for that update.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you all so much.
Yeah.
This is the Mike Moran show.
Yes. Yeah.
Cross his path. Thank him.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't we talk about item C, the LRSP, Local Roadway Safety Plan Task Force.
So, as you know, when I started here a few months ago, this was the task was to kick this project off, preparation of a local road safety plan. And as part of that, I've been working to put together a multidisciplinary task force. This commission is involved in that as well. And the last piece of that was on this commission, there will be 2 at-large community members. And so we went through an application process. We received 5 applications as part of that, 5 very strong applications. And interviews for those positions were last night. The panel was Mayor Geringer and Councilmember Handel. So they conducted the interviews and will announce the selection at this Monday's council meeting. And so I'm really excited by the candidates and the potential for filling these roles. And then we'll have our first task force meeting on 2 weeks from tonight, 2 weeks from tomorrow on September 22nd. So that will officially kick off the process.
Okay, will that be public?
Yes,
So we'll be noticed.
yes.
Thanks.
Won't be in person, will it? No, in Zoom, right?
Yes, it'll be virtual. Mhm.
Thank you.
I want to point out to my fellow commissioners and also the public, both online now and who look at YouTube later, that the LRSP, there is now a website on the city website you can dig down through the transportation sections, or you can just search for it, but there is a whole page dedicated to LRSP. There's also, if you haven't read it yet, the last Vistas newsletter had a very nice one-page summary of the Vision Zero, and it included a paragraph about the LRSP also. Okay. All right. Item D. If there's no more questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Bart.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm, I assume that as we get closer to the first meeting that the website link for the LRSP will move from where it is right now, where it's pretty far into the transportation area. That will move up to the city's homepage.
That's
More
good.
evident.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
you
State what that stands for our public.
what?
LRSP.
Oh, we've been saying that tonight. The
Yeah.
local roadway safety plan. But to Bart's point, Patrick, which you might consider is cross-linking, the hot topics button has got a list of web items that you might consider cross-link there also.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll look for ways to make it more prominent.
All right. TARS.
TARS. So this is kind of a discussion, just a high-level discussion of that I have been trying to make sense of the TARs that come in. I'm not aware of in the past with my predecessors, how they were presented to you and how often that happened. But what I'm doing, just to let this group know, is that we get TARs, the official applications, but we also get a tremendous number of emails and phone calls. And so what I've been doing is tracking them that way, responding to applicants. And I have not yet brought any specific TARs to this group yet, but the vast majority of them are address speeding on my street, speeding. And that's all valid. But as I discussed last month, I am taking another look at the traffic calming policy in tandem with the LRSP to make it consistent with the LRSP, to make it a data-driven process. And so we are not moving forward on on consideration of traffic calming at this point until I can update that policy. So I'm already now starting to collect data for applicants that come in that request traffic calming on the streets. So what I'm trying to do now is quantify the issues that are raised to us. So I'm going to amass myself with a lot of data and use that to be able to identify what the priority projects are that come out of the TARs.
Okay.
So really, I just wanted to give kind of a high level review that I'm trying to kind of repackage everything, make sense of all the current and the past TARs that we've received, and then find out from this group if there's any questions or any guidance in terms of how this committee has reviewed TARs in the past.
I got a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I? Is there some streets that are more, is there more complaints on certain streets, or is it all over Lafayette?
It's all over.
All over. It's not, there's not the pockets of,
No,
no, okay.
Lynn, you had your hand up?
Yeah, there are always speed humps for one thing. How many people want speed humps on their street is something else again. But we have done various, you asked what to do with the TARs. We've done various things at various different times. When we first started out, we brought them in as soon as they came in. When something came in, Chuck DeLu would take a look at it. He probably had recommendations, or maybe he didn't, and would bring them to the commission. We talk about it, and sometimes we did ask him to do something. Sometimes he'd already have done something, had a look and made up his mind what he thought should be done, and so on and so on. I personally feel that the sooner we serve the public, the better off we are. I wouldn't hang on to something for half a year, which has happened in the past, and then tend to it. I think if we could possibly manage it, I think we should try to take care of it as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on this item? Okay, it's not listed as a standing item, but it is. Stella, I don't know if you want to give us any update on GPAC activities.
Sure, yeah. GPAC's not going to be meeting in September because staff is working on a maybe revised work plan for the safety element. And so they'll be bringing us back together in October.
Lynn?
Question for Stella. The question came up at a Lafayette Homeowners Council board meeting. We were wondering, because we had heard that Orinda's safety plan was very good. And we were sort of curious at the LHC meeting, wondering whether or not they would allow us in sort of, not word for word, but possibly copy it if it's good. I mean, why duplicate success? Why not duplicate success?
Yeah, I understand the sentiment, but it was a private consulting company that produced that, so I'm sure they would have something to say about copying and pasting it. But I think staff is looking into this area as part of their revisiting the work plan. So I think they'll have something to let us know about in October.
Okay. And any other comments or questions on that? All right. Anybody else? I have got one thing, two things to share or ask about. Anybody else before me? Yeah, Patrick.
You didn't ask for staff to comment, but something that I neglected to put on the agenda. So Carl, I'm going to let you know if I can state this, but there's a request for a combination planning commission and Transserc meeting on October 3rd. To discuss a proposed development on Oak Hill Road.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
For some documents from the planning department that would help to guide discussion. But quorum is needed from both Transserc and Planning Commission, and it's a Monday night, October 3rd.
My suggestion is you have Therese send out a doodle and get confirmation whether or not people can attend.
Great.
And if we can form a quorum.
Great. Thank
Um,
Did you say this was for Deer Hill?
Oak Hill.
Okay.
Oak Hill.
And Patrick, that will be virtual as well.
Thank you.
I'm confirmed.
Yeah.
Where is it on the Oak Hill?
Just south of the off-ramp.
Okay. So that's
Oh.
fine. So why don't you send out a doodle? And if we're going to join, then you'll have to change the October 3rd. It just currently says Planning Commission. You'd have to make that a joint meeting or something of that nature.
I'm
Okay,
curious
yeah.
though, just about the location. Is this a topic that Planning Commission's already heard, or we could go and watch the video?
Yeah.
Let me find out what's been.
Okay, no, that's okay. I can look it up as well. But when you said the freeway off ramp in Oak Hill, I think Oak Hill's in between or is a block west of the freeway on ramp or off ramp.
No, yes, it's south. I get the picture.
I don't know. Anyway, it's not the BART development, is it?
It's not, no.
No, no.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Lynn?
Yeah, there have been two major buildings there that did fantastic businesses, and there were so many accidents coming and going in and out of there that they both have had to leave. And I don't think there's anything going on in there right now. I don't know how on earth. Is there actually an application for a large apartment building in there?
Well, they've done CEQA analysis. They've done a transportation. I'm not sure. All I have so far is a request from the planning department for a combined meeting. So I don't want to speak about the project, things that I don't know.
There is a project though, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, it's not a project.
Okay, I want to go back, and I know Carol and Jamie have been watching this meeting, and I skipped over the opportunity for them to provide comment about item 6A. So I'll give you a chance to do that if you have anything to say about item 6A. Okay, I don't see any hands raised, so I think they're good. All right, I have one thing to share before, and that is you may have seen notes about this elsewhere, but this Saturday, September 10th, there's going to be the La Miranda 2022 virtual evacuation exercise. It's with all of the local cities, and the CERT operations are going to be testing out the community warning system. And everybody here, as well as watching, is encouraged to sign up for the community warning system. There is a link on the city website. You can get to that through the hot topics. There is a button that says a link on the hot topics called Contra Costa County Community Warning System, CWS alerts. So all of you are encouraged to sign up for that system. Okay. Yeah, Lynn.
Yeah, that's the same day as the major senior citizens, what's it called? There's a poster up. There have been notices for weeks it's like sort of like Savvy Seniors, but it's a major informative senior conference at Acalanes High School. Terrible time to have any sort of a community warning system testing.
Well, you never know when there's going to be an emergency, do you?
That's right.
You never know when there's going to be an emergency.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is a virtual drill. Bart, you had a question, comment?
We
Yeah, I
won't
just
be
wanna
home.
mention-
We won't be home.
Bart?
I just want to mention that many of us are already signed up for the county warning system. So I mean, if you've already signed up, there's no reason to have to re-sign up. So,
Correct.
and I was just curious, I guess that the county's warning system is different from the Nixle system. Will both be used in this?
My recollection was that the Nixle will not be used. This is a county warning system. They may send out notes later, but Nixle's not going to be used for the actual emergency alerts.
What's a Nixle?
Nixle is a system that the cities, including Lafayette, can use to transmit information by SMS text messages. So oftentimes you'll see a message that there's an accident at corner A and B and avoid the area, for example.
Oh, I see. Well, we got a message from PG&E a couple of days ago about electricity. Would that be the same kind of message?
CWS is really for emergencies. It's the Contra Costa County.
Okay, only.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Anything
The
else?
hours, what are the hours? for-
The messages are going to go out between 8 and 9:30. And I don't know how long the whole thing will last, but basically the idea is to make sure your phone works, and
Yeah.
then if you are actually involved in CERT or whatever, I will be monitoring family radio system and also the ham radio repeaters. But you do whatever you want to do. Just make sure that your family has a plan for evacuation. Okay. And also on that sign up sheet, there is a link to the fire evacuation pamphlet that the city has distributed. Were you waving at me, Stella?
Sorry, I'm muted.
Yeah.
Talking to myself. I don't know if you just mentioned it just now, but CWS is an opt-in system. And so you do have to go to the website. I'm looking to see, do you have it? Is it?
Yeah, if you go to it's cwsalert.com.
Yeah, okay. And then you can put in your email, your telephone, your cell phone.
Yeah, and there's a link on the hot topics page also of the city. Okay. Anything else people want to share or highlight tonight? Good. We can go out and have something.
Stay cool.
Have dinner. Okay. Seriously though, thank you everybody for participating. Thank you, Patrick and Therese, for facilitating and helping this meeting go forward. And it's a good forum for sharing information.
And thank you, Carl.
I think, well, thank you. And that's it for now. It's 6:54 p.m. This meeting's adjourned.
All right.
Good night, all.
Good night,
night.
everyone.
Nice.
Peace out, baby.
Stay cool.